This is Hueco Tanks from Clout Gaming, here with some intermediate clashing.
Hello again. So today I want to talk about the Goblin Giant. I had a really tough time using it for these last couple of challenges, these special Goblin Giant challenges. Just towards the last few matches, I started to kind of feel like I understood what was going on. So I want to show you some of the things that I've sorted out just to see, see what I think. So you're gonna see me have a really tough time dealing with Goblin Giant in general because it's a tower seeker, but it's not just a tower seeker. So a lot of times people are going to be playing, having it, paired with another win condition because it's not exactly, at least I don't see how to use it as its own win condition right now. So you're going to see a lot of people running Goblin Giant alongside, like I've got Battle Ram, another multi-purpose unit. But you're going to see people running it, like here he's running it with Miner. And this is just awkward play, just right out the gate. I mean, my deck feels awkward. Cards are out of order, I don't have good answers lined up. But here's where I start to kind of curve in to find my own. I think that's a pretty decent attack. And it required a response. It required arrows from him to get rid of my Musk and my Ice Spirit, because that would have been just devastating if the Ice Spirit would have gotten on that tower. But here now he didn't really have a good response for that Ram. So I get some damage, and now I'm up. But here, look at this. I'm going to use my Musk because I can sort of multi-purpose, have the Musk defend a couple of different things, as well as tank, so that my tower doesn't take much more damage. Now my tower is doing okay, but it's not great. I'm not exactly looking to limp a Musk across the bridge in place, exchange for maybe 300 HP or something like that. So that was, I think a good trade there. Now here we see he's going to want to push his Goblin Giant with the Prince, and it just kind of doesn't happen. And I love P.E.K.K.A here, because P.E.K.K.A just chops down that giant Goblin, all the while tanking so that the Prince doesn't get any damage in on me. Now, unfortunately, I clumped my troops there. He got a nice value fireball, and that stops my push. But I'm ahead a little ways, and then you see this log. He was smart. He knew that a log was coming, so he waited with the gang, but he should have, I don't know, maybe played it a little differently. I said well played, meaning, hey, that's cool how you, avoided my log, and then it looked like BM, because then my Ram hit. I did not mean for it to be BM. Here you see just, P.E.K.K.A, she just does so well as just soaking things up and dealing with a small number of enemies. Now at this point, I don't really need to do anything, because either a log or a fireball will send that thing packing, and I just need to defend for a few seconds. Not a difficult thing to do. Goblin Giant moves somewhat slowly. I just need to kind of log that stuff back. So I don't think that this is a straightforward card. I don't yet see how to use it, so you can just see how awkward my play is, and this is some of my best playing. Oh, here's a silver chest open. Unboxing. So I also wanted to show this video, that 3-1 there, it was just, we each swung hard, and I swung harder. I think he had like Sparky or something. But this, I think, is a pretty interesting video. In this match, we see what happens when somebody tries to just swap out a giant and replace it with the Goblin Giant. So this is, in my mind, this offers evidence to the claim that the Goblin Giant is a completely different animal. So you can't just swap it out and treat it like a giant that costs one more elixir and has a little bit of defense. Oh, that was a beautiful fireball. What I'm seeing so far, because I know the Goblin Giant's going to be in this deck, I'm seeing somebody has a Giant Witch deck, a nice, standard, straightforward Giant Witch deck, 3 spell, but still Giant Witch, and they're trying to run the Goblin Giant as though it's just a giant. So playing in the back, not necessarily a bad strategy, but the Goblin Giant fundamentally works differently. So you're going to see here, I mean, that's just kind of awkward play. My Goblin Giant has those Spear Goblins to get rid of all those bats, and then I can take care of the Witch post-haste, and I don't really worry about this mini P.E.K.K.A hitting my tower, because I've got such a huge threat coming on the left-hand side that I want to get my ram going so I can have a split push. Now, he's got 2 serious threats and no really good answer. I mean, the log did stop the ram, but look at how much damage I'm getting. Now here, I'm again just going to kind of tank those bats. Oh, I guess they didn't even hit. Sometimes when bats clump up, they will get a hit in. But, I could have responded with like a musketeer or something, but then I would have, again, just a lone musketeer stumbling across the bridge confusedly. Whereas now I have just a very strong P.E.K.K.A push, and, my weak tower is actually slightly above his strong tower, or his only tower, his only non-king tower. So I'm just sort of pushing with some brute force, but in my mind, I'm resigned to giving up this tower in exchange for some strong pushes on the left-hand side. So again, lovely fireball, got rid of that mini P.E.K.K.A, I'm pretty happy. I've got 2 towers. Now I kind of don't care, and I'm down to give this guy a tower just to, just because I figure he's on the challenge. So I'm just going to play lightly. I'm not trying to do too much. I'm not trying to get too crazy or too creative. I would like a 3 crown, but then, I definitely want to shut down whatever's happening on the left-hand side. Fireball there. And I think this would have been a 3 crown. Maybe I did defend a little bit too aggressive on the right-hand side. But still, fun match, and this is what happens if you try to treat the Goblin Giant as just a giant. So I hope some of that made sense. Thanks for watching.